All righty. I really hate breaking up some good networking in lunch, so feel free to continue eating. But everyone can hear me okay? We're good? We've got an amazing AV team here today, so welcome everyone. As I was just saying to Tal here, we've invited all the cool people here today, and so what an amazing turnout. On behalf of WEtech Alliance, thank you so much for being part of our ninth annual ScaleUP Showcase and Pitch Finale. And we know it took some time or some maybe pushing to get here. It is March break, and so for all those who have great bosses that let them play a little ScaleUP hooky today, thank you. And then to the entrepreneurs, I guess this is the benefit of being your own boss, right? Exactly. So my name is Yvonne Pilon, and I have the distinct pleasure of being and serving in the President and CEO role of WEtech Alliance alongside such an amazing team. And today is really special for us. This is, as you can appreciate, a large event, and we've been planning this for what feels like months. But it's not only an opportunity to celebrate a bigger stage, a bigger event, and a broader geography for the ScaleUP Cohort, but it also recognizes WEtech Alliance's 15 years of serving founders and companies and building the innovation ecosystem here right in Windsor, Essex. Thank you. Now, out of curiosity, this question my dad asks me often is, what does WEtech do? How many here actually know what WEtech, or feels like they're comfortable in saying what WEtech does? Okay, like a lot of our clients are in the room lifting their hands. So in a simple term, we help tech and innovation-based companies start, sell, and scale. And you may go, great, what does that actually mean? And so I want to use today as a really good example of exactly what we do, because all of you know entrepreneurs and innovators and people with ideas, and so we want you to refer them to us. And again, when they come through our door, they then go into the doors of many of our ecosystem partners that are here in the room. And so when we talk about helping early stage founders start, just across the room, you'll see an Up Next room powered by Boyer & Associates. And this is a room with all of our early stage companies who are speed mentoring with some of our growth coaches. And a fun fact, one of the companies on stage today was in that very room 1 year ago today. And so that acts as a pipeline into future ScaleUP cohorts. We help companies sell and scale. And how we do that is the ScaleUP companies on the stage have been working very closely with their growth coaches and have been intensely working in education workshops and peer groups, helping them refine their sales pitch, their pricing strategy, and things like even cybersecurity readiness. And a shout out to our WeSecure Sterling partners joining us today. We help companies tell their stories. Hope some of you saw all of the great podcast series. The Scaling Up podcast is part of our Innovation Alchemy podcast, our AM 800 segment, as well as the brochure in front of you. These are so critical for our companies when they're selling and when they're growing and also building. We help companies connect to experts who've been there and done that. I'd like to now ask all of our growth coaches to raise their hands today. I want to thank them. These are people who have built companies or leaders in sales and marketing and IP and legal, etc. And in fact, my favorite moment this morning was seeing them all come in together, many of them coming from Kitchener, Waterloo, Toronto area, and they carpooled together. So I want to thank you for your ongoing commitment to our companies, and also our internal business advisors, Adam Castle and Susanna Martins, who've played a really important role in that. We also help companies plug into ecosystems and networks. There are close to a dozen organizations and business support organizations in this room, and they are coming here to help support the companies on this stage. And we need that because a connected, organized ecosystem, again, as I mentioned, it's not one organization that helps companies start, sell, and scale. It's an ecosystem. We help companies access capital and opportunities. And as you see behind me, we have two very large, big, beautiful checks. And these are, in fact, more than checks. It's opportunities to help companies with capital readiness, and it's partnerships and gateways to partners like Libro Credit Union and Baker Tilly, and also to the broader investor and funder community like groups like BDC. We also help build community and coalition. This is a thing we also talk about at WEtech is, it's just an event. This is so much more than an event. And one of the founders that you'll see pitching today on the stage shared a story with me of a recent pitch competition they were in, and it wasn't about the winning. It was about the connection in this room, and every one of you have the ability to be a first customer, a product tester, a supporter, a mentor to these companies. So all of you play an important role of helping these companies continue to scale. Today for me is a preview of what is possible for our region, our province, and our nation when we invest in ideas and entrepreneurs and startup ecosystems. It's a kind of a different economic development as you know, Gordon and his team do a fantastic job in economic development. When it comes to startups, it takes years and decades to build. But ultimately, when we invest in these entrepreneurs and idea, it really builds a strong foundation for our company that is productive and innovative. And the work never stops. Anyone in startup ecosystem world knows that every day is day one. We constantly have to be building that funnel of entrepreneurs. And before we move into the land acknowledgements, I want to recognize the founders who are brave enough to come onto this stage, who have been building, who are scaling, and are really putting themselves out there. So please, round of applause for our founders today who are going to be pitching. We now would like to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is the traditional territories of the Three Fires Confederacy of the First Nations, which include the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi. We honor all First Nations, Inuit, Métis peoples, and the valuable past and present contributions to this land. Now, a few housekeeping items, and again, I promise I'm going to be quick, so I know everyone's eager to hear the pitches. Restrooms are just outside the door, and again, we recognize that some of you had to take some time away from work, so if you need to step out, feel free to do so, and I believe the buffet is still out there, and I heard lunch was really great. We also have a number of people capturing today, so please share these stories on social media, get your picture taken, or even get yourself on film. We have Gavin Booth and his team, we have Anthony Sheridan and Katie Stokes helping capture the energy today. And if you need any assistance, please feel free to reach out to any of the team members. Most of us are wearing green lanyards today. All right, so this is a time where we're going to hold our applause because there's a lot of people to thank in this room. And so we've got partners, we've got judges, we've got elected officials, and we've got just a great community. And so I want to start first and foremost with, I would say, the OG, the creator, the instigator of the ScaleUP program, to our BFFs at Libro Credit Union, a long-standing supporter of this program. And again, we'll hold our applause because there is a lot. I want to thank Libro COO Diane Doe, pardon me, who's joined us here from the London team, and Lori Atkinson, regional manager. Thank you so much for the ongoing efforts that you put into WEtech and prosperity into this region. And again, they are scaling too, if you haven't noticed. Also to our friends at Communitech and FedDev Ontario. As you know, Communitech is one of the large tech hubs in Waterloo. We are good friends together, and I know Carrie's joining us today from Communitech, and I believe Matt Thompson might be in the room from FedDev. So thank you so much for your support through the ScaleUP platform program. And to the province of Ontario made an investment 15 years ago into the Regional Innovation Center Network, and it's because of that investment that we can put on programs like the ScaleUP Accelerator program. Baker Tilly for powering this year's People's Choice Award, as you can see behind me. Boyer and Associates for powering our Up Next section of this event, and also our general founders table. Thank you so much. And now I want to move on to the judges. Man, do you have a tough decision in front of you today. We have Jacob Duhane, the CEO of iDream Interactive and former ScaleUP alumni. You were on the stage last year. Lori Atkinson, regional manager of Libro Credit Union. We have Chantel Bernard, deputy chief information officer at the beautiful city of Windsor. And Ashley Douglas, the chair of WEtech Alliance board of directors. Finally, we have a number of elected officials in the room, whether they're here today or they'll be joining us later this afternoon. I want to thank MP Windsor West, Harb Gill, MP Windsor Tecumseh, Kathy Borelli, MPP Windsor Tecumseh, Andrew Dowie, the Mayor, City of Windsor, Drew Dilkins, Warden, Essex County, Hilda McDonald, and Councillor of City of Windsor and Mr. Downtown Ward 3, Ronaldo Agostino. All right, I have 2 more pages, I promise I'm almost done. All right, so we are here at the beautiful Caesars Windsor, so thank you so much to the AV team, to the food and beverage team, everyone who made this possible, and also we were recipients of the Caesars Windsor's CARES program, so we are so grateful for their support, and as you can see, there's a lot of greenery on this stage and on your tables. We want to thank our partners at Plantscape for that. Now, again, I just want to thank every one of you. I have been doing my job for over 15 years, and this is exactly what we wanted to see for this event. And it's so important, as I mentioned, this is not an event. This is the community being built. This is the culture being changed. And we are going to do some really great things in this region. I'm so excited. So a big thank you to our board members, our partners, growth coaches, judges, guests. I believe we have a ScaleUP alumni table. Raise your hand. These are the people who were in past years have been on this stage, and some of them have gone on to do some pretty incredible things. So, and also, if you are an entrepreneur in the room who is thinking about scaling, if you know an entrepreneur who's thinking of scaling, we're going to be soon recruiting for Cohort 10 of the ScaleUP Accelerator. So if you go to page 18 in your booklet, you can scan a QR code, get your name on an email to get notified when applications launch. Again, 10 years next year. It's wild, wild. So with that, let's give a round of applause for the judges, our sponsors, our partners, our elected officials, and eventually all of you. All right. All right, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, I get to now enjoy, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce, as the Shelter team would call Yoda, the Yoda of entrepreneurship, but as our Director of Venture Services and Partnerships, Adam Castle, who will be your MC today and will guide you along. Again, thank you so much on behalf of WEtech for being here today. Cheers.
Good afternoon, everyone. Are we ready for ScaleUP? Are you ready? Well, thank you, Yvonne. As Yvonne mentioned, today wouldn't be possible without the partners that we have in this room supporting this program, so thank you. Before I jump in, I want to take just a second to soak in this room. So here we are at Caesars Windsor. There are 200 people here present today. 200, we sold out, ladies and gentlemen. And in the 8 years and 9 cohorts of running this program, this is new. We have never run anything at this scale before, so thank you so much for being here. Now, I was hired at WEtech 8 years ago to run this program. And among other things, one of the greatest privileges of my career has been to see how our team has evolved and taken this program and turned it into what you see before you today. So if you're a WEtech member, can you please raise your hand? This is the team. Oh, sorry, WEtech staff member. But also, look at how many people raised their hands that said, yeah, we're part of WEtech. That's a community. Well, these are the people, the WEtech staff, are the folks that are your go-to for anything that you need today. One of the most amazing things about seeing this program, and something that I learn every single time we run it, is that the program itself is just a fraction of the story here today. What actually makes ScaleUp work is people. It's the growth coaches who have built companies and scaled them and know how to coach another founder when things get hard. It's the amazing programming staff that understand and empathize with the sacrifices that these founders make every single day when trying to bring their ideas to life. It's the partners who write checks and open doors, and it is community champions like all of you that show up to a room like this and say, I really want to see what's being built here. That, ladies and gentlemen, is infrastructure. You are all part of that infrastructure. And as Yvonne said it a couple minutes ago, and she's right, everyone in this room has a role to play. But I want to get really specific about what that role looks like today for you. Now, we talk a lot in economic development about building the conditions for growth, what the ingredients are, how we attract them, how we measure that output. But the most powerful infrastructure that a founder can have, the most powerful, is people sitting across from them and wondering, how can I help you get in front of your next opportunity faster? And that is the task, ladies and gentlemen, that I want to give you here today. To the founders who are about to take this stage, I know how nerve-wracking it is to come up here and bear everything in front of people. And while I want you to know that there are some judges here, no one here today is judging you. This is a room full of support. And honestly, seriously, I get it. If I didn't have this suit on holding back all the butterflies, we'd have a full butterfly conservatory in here. It's aggressive. So when you come up here and you take this stage and you share your vision, you can trust me when I say that everyone here, everyone sitting in front of you today, are here because they want to see you succeed in this work. Folks, when you watch these founders pitch, I want you to listen with that question in your head. Not just, is this a good idea, but do I know someone who should meet this person? Do I have a connection, a conversation, an opportunity to get them in front of someone that can help affect their trajectory of what they're building? Because you might, and it might make all the difference. So today you're gonna see 9 teams take this stage, 8 minutes per pitch, 2 minutes after for questions from the judges, and between each pitch, you'll have a bit of an interlude. You'll get a chance to connect with the teams directly. There's a QR code in each of your books that allows you to give feedback to the teams right away. And at the end of the pitches, you're gonna get an opportunity to come on and be judges with us. You're actually gonna get to pick the People's Choice Award powered by Baker Tilly today. That means you have a very active and important role at this event. There are absolutely no bystanders at anything that WEtech does, and this is absolutely no different. It's worth noting, too, that those founders across the hall that are meeting with our growth coaches, they're also building here today. That up next zone, that's the next wave, powered by Boyer and Associates. And these are founders that are going to be in this program, hopefully next year. There are other builders and innovators sitting in this room, too, and I know that. And so I just want to say, when I talk about all of us being infrastructure, I mean it quite literally. You know, I think there's this belief out there that only big things come from big places. That as a Canadian startup, you have to be in Toronto or Waterloo or Ottawa in order to build something meaningful. Our organization has been around now for 15 years, and we know those ecosystems are so incredibly valuable. You know, the way that they have mentors and capital and market access, it exists in those hubs unlike anywhere else in this country. But what I want to say is that there's a reminder here that you do not have to be in those spaces to benefit from them. And I know we have representatives here from those ecosystems, and truly we are so grateful for your support. But I've seen your traffic congestion. You don't want us moving there either. You know, as Yvonne mentioned, this year, for the first time, thanks to partners like Libro, FedDev, and Communitech, ScaleUp opened its doors to founders from across southwestern Ontario. No matter where a company comes from, every single founder you see today has made a commitment to strengthening Windsor-Essex and Chatham-Kent. That is by design. We built a regional economic impact lens into this program that means new employees being hired here, customers and partners taking advantage of this technology first before anybody else, and connections to institutions that are strengthened by the ability for them to work with these innovators directly. We have ScaleUp alumni right now building autonomous robots in the most northern parts of Alberta. We have alumni whose AI technology is removing bias from the hiring process. We have alumni that are working to deliver 3D printed medical devices around the world in places where they have no consistent specializations. And just this past week, we had alumni from this program taking their time to volunteer to review the pitches that you're about to see here today. Our alumni are not just building companies in our backyard, they're helping build the next generation of innovators, and ScaleUp is a flywheel in motion. All of that started with a foundation built right here in Windsor and Essex in rooms infinitely smaller than this one. The world right now needs a heck of a lot more of Ontario, whether or not our historical allies want to give us that. Our job as the community standing here supporting these founders today, especially here in the single busiest trade crossing in North America, is to help make that happen, to help build new bridges and create new resilience. So imagine, ladies and gentlemen, if we did this more. If we consistently gave our biggest stages to the people working hardest to innovate our industries, to change our way of life. Imagine the signal that would send to folks that are looking for the next place to build. Now, throughout this program, I got to sit down with every member of the cohort for a podcast conversation. My favorite part of this job in the last 8 years is getting to sit across from the founder and talk about what's working. What are their big wins? What are the big things that they've found as setbacks? And working on strategy to get around it. 1 minute you're celebrating, the next you're crying, such is entrepreneurship. But you're gonna get a chance to hear through some of those podcasts every time someone pitches today, to get a sense of these founders in their own words before they come up. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet today Taj Bra, CEO of Quotograph. Taj, come on up, and please let's take a look. Yeah, that's really cool. This program is coming to a close. We still have the big pitch, obviously, in March, which is coming up really quickly. This program goes away, but WEtech doesn't. But what are some of the things that you're leaving with in terms of clarity that you have now versus when you kind of entered into this process?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, one of the biggest things through this program has been the coaches that we've been each given, and they've actually pushed me. I'll even give Paula a little shout out here, but just to take a step back, right? Yeah. And we've already talked about this, but it's like we should reiterate it because it's so important. But there was just too much going on for you to actually have any clarity and a vision and a plan of what to do, right? Yeah. So Paul would even ask me, like, Taj, you have 2 platforms and you're working a third, and you have staff that you need to manage as well. Like, how the hell do you do it all? What is your process, right? So now at the end of this, it's just like I'm just more clear on the structure of the schedule of what I'm gonna do, right? Even though I just know this week, like, I'm gonna make X amount of calls, X amount of emails, have X amount of meetings, it just feels so much better, and I just feel so much more alive versus like you're the feeling where you're running behind just to make it to your next meeting, and then you just finish and you're like, oh, what now?
Yeah,
another
next?
meeting, right? It's like right. So
yeah,
just the clarity is so good.
That's awesome. And like making clarity out of that chaos of early entrepreneurship is such a tough one, because now's that time period too where I find, before everything's fully baked, the opportunities for a product like yours is kind of endless, right? Like, you're going to see all of these places where it's like, oh, I could go there, or, oh, I could provide value to that, or, oh, I could do that. But having that clarity and focus means that maybe I'm doing something today that's going to benefit me in 6 months and not tomorrow. And that's okay. There doesn't have to be that immediate kind of return on my investment of time and effort and piece, like, into everything. So it's really cool that that's your takeaway. I just want to thank you so much for being a part of this program, for joining us here for today and this podcast, and just letting us be a part of the journey. We're so excited to continue watching it happen and supporting where we can.
No, thank you guys for all your support. Hat goes off to you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Adam.
Take care.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Windsor. How you guys doing today? Awesome. Thank you, Adam, for hyping me up. Really good little podcast clip there. Before I get started, I couldn't get started without thanking the entire WEtech team. I already gave the shout out to the coaches, but yeah, the coaches have been super helpful as well. Sometimes you just need that kick in the butt to remind you kind of to stay focused and to keep pumping those calls out. So I really appreciate that. Why are we here? What is Quotograph? So I am Taj Bra. I'm the founder and CEO of Quotograph. Quotograph is a construction automation platform. Essentially what we do is we automate all the boring stuff that contractors don't want to do. So you can think of paperwork, estimates, project management, etc. But first, I want to take you guys back a couple of years to 2023. I had just graduated. We had moved into a new subdivision. Our family, my parents were kind of lazy, so we wanted to build a fence, but we didn't want to build it right away. So we waited for all our neighbors to build their fence. And then, hey, like magic, we had a fence, but no gates. So it was my problem, or my job, to call contractors, get them to come out, give a quote for this project. That is why we're called Quotograph. I firsthand experienced the lack of technology. Everything was manual. So what we initially did is we created a marketplace. Now, a lot of people, anyone who's launched a marketplace before knows just how difficult it is, but we essentially had 25 contractors on this marketplace. Homeowners would take photos, videos of their projects. We'd use our technology to analyze it, and like magic, they'd have an instant quote. Now, the issue was we couldn't market this marketplace. We had 25 users all over Ontario, even a couple down in California who really liked our technology. We said, what can we do? So we basically said, hey, let's take our marketplace, let's go to these contractors and ask them, how can we actually get you guys to pay for this technology right now? And that's where some general contractor said, hey, Taj, we don't care about quoting. We care about safety and project management. Can we use your technology to help expedite that? plumbers, electricians, they said, hey, we don't care about photos, videos. We just care about our floor plans, our takeoffs. Can you help us expedite that process? So we pivoted to a straight B2B approach, and we started offering all our technology directly to contractors instead of in that marketplace. Now, I'm sure you're sitting there wondering, how in the world are you able to automate all these you just mentioned 3 different processes. How do you do it? It's very, very simple. All we do is we ask from our contractors, just send us your data. Could be photos, could be videos, could be those floor plans. Then, like magic, we analyze it using what we call our construction analysis technology. Like magic, you have your automated product. What are some examples? So right now we have 2 main products, Quoto Measure, Quoto Report. Quoto Report is essentially automated safety reports. So we found general contractors, they were walking their sites, taking a lot of photos, videos. Sometimes they're using open space. They had a 360 camera on their helmet, walking through the entire site. A project manager is literally going arrow by arrow, reviewing that project reconstruction. What do we do with Quoto Report? We analyze all that visual content, and we send them back A to Z summary, what's happening on site, plus someone doesn't have a hard hat on, missing PPE, all of that is automatically flagged. Quoto Measure, so I'm sure you guys have seen on construction sites, guys holding those very large blueprints. So with Quoto Measure, we've automated that. So you just upload the PDF version of your blueprint, and you can do all your digital takeoffs that way. Now, these are our 2 main platforms. In the podcast with Adam, you also mentioned the 3rd platform. So we did a Construction Life podcast, and some interior designers saw what we were doing. We loved the safety aspect. We loved takeoffs. The biggest problem for us, though, is permitting, and we've all heard it. You wait 3 or 4 months to hear back from the city. So now our 3rd flagship product is going to be PermitX, which essentially you upload your permit applications, and we use our exact same technology to tell you in minutes instead of months whether your permit is going to be approved or not. So who are we really targeting with our technology? Main focus is general contractors, and again, those commercial subcontractors. However, because construction is a very integrated industry and ecosystem, by consequence, we do serve some adjacent industries, I guess you could say as well. What kind of market are we going after? So right now, the construction technology industry is worth about $10 billion. Every single year, it's growing 10%. So it's actually going to be worth about $21 billion by 2032. And based on our current growth, we hope to reach 266 customers in the next couple of years, each at an average about each paying about $4,000 a month, which will get us our SAM of about $13 million. Really quick here, some real stats. So I don't want to just come here and tell you guys about our products. I want to show how it's actually proving real benefits to construction companies. I'll just highlight the Quoto Measure one, 38% reduction in estimating costs. Why? You're not driving to Staples, you're not printing off those giant blueprints, you don't have 3 guys sitting around a table like this doing your takeoffs. Just the owner or the estimator uploads their blueprints, and they could do it all on their laptop or even on their tablet as well. This is a very emerging kind of industry. A lot of people are coming to solve construction automation problems. That's okay. That just really reiterates this is the problem that needs to be solved. What we've done with Quotograph, anyone who walked outside and saw our platform, it's very user-friendly. We have games. We don't call it an app, so we just call it a website even. So we have a one-stop platform, so you can do estimating, project management, takeoffs, all in one platform, and now permitting as well, without having to leave. So that's kind of the big win with us. We've all heard of Procore. They're the giant in construction software. They only focus in on project management, right? They don't do the measurements. They don't do the estimates. Matterport is really focused on the measurement, a little bit of project management. So we truly are that one-stop shop. How do we make money? We're a tech company. Mainly, we have a SaaS subscription. Starts at $200 a month. You get limited access, do a few takeoffs. For larger clients, you can do the API as well. So we have a lot of traction in Windsor. We're part of the Windsor Construction Association. Frank, who's actually the co-founder or founder of Alpha Core, so we actually connected with him by joining the Windsor Construction Association. Then we learned, hey, he actually told us, hey, I actually founded WEtech. So we've really kind of immersed ourselves in the Windsor ecosystem. Also, we do have some really large national clients as well. So recently at the likes of Walter Fetty, more on the design quota measure side, and then Malul Blamey, who's currently using our safety software. Our team, so we have a very beautiful team here. So of course we have myself that mainly does the operations sales. We also have Dr. Tagrul Guner, who's a PhD in material sciences and machine learning. He really helps me on the technical side, and the rest of our team is very dev focused, so we have a lot of front-end, back-end engineers, and then some advisors there as well. Just kind of to finish off here, so I'll just show kind of that's what our platform looks like. So that's quota measure on the tablet, so you can use upload your floor plans, do your digital takeoffs. Here you see a nice summary that we got from Quota Report. And then in my last few seconds here, I'll just end it off. So if anyone actually knows general contractors, they know not even necessarily plumbers, but even if they just, not necessarily commercial plumbers, but any plumbers maybe want to break into commercial construction, because we can help them do that. So please do make the referrals and come talk to me later out in the hallway. So yes, thank you everyone. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Taj, great presentation.
Thank you.
Just one question for you. What is your greatest barrier to growth right now?
I would say traditionally we would get buy-in from the executive team, but the hardest thing was getting the users to actually implement it. So realistically, that's still a barrier that we face. For example, in that 360 camera example I mentioned, surprisingly, like guys don't even like putting on the 360 camera on their helmet because they find it demeaning, right? Because like that's just how they personally feel about it. So the way we've been able to go around that is talking to the actual users, even if they're not the ones that are actually buying it, and they say, hey, what if I have a safety vest and you just integrate the camera in there and it's discreet and I don't need to walk around with a clunky 360 camera on my helmet. So it's really finding out what the users will actually do, which I think is what most construction software technology companies are lacking. They get the buy-in from the executive level, but you got to get the buy-in from the user level as well. So that's our biggest challenge, but it's something we're addressing, but we're still working towards. Thank you. Oh, just one question? Just one. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys.
Our next presenter, Tony Gale, has spent an entire lifetime in infrastructure. But Tony's just one person, and managing infrastructure projects like the Gordie Howe Bridge requires coordinating across thousands of individual workers. Well, Tony decided to tackle that problem with the latest technologies available to him. Let's take a look. Amazing. It sounds like you've created something really, really special. This program is closing, right? ScaleUp is almost at its end. You're in your final stretch. We still obviously have pitches to go. But what is one thing or a few things that you feel more clear or stable about as you're coming out of this program versus when you came into it?
Well, my background has been heavy technical background. My business approach hasn't been, meaning the broader terms of how to launch an international company.
Right.
Whereas the expertise falls within, and I've learned within WEtech, is how to present them and how to approach a business person versus approaching a technical person.
Yes, yeah.
Right, and how the business is sound, and that its model is what you would expect.
Right.
Like, I didn't know how to build the business model.
Yeah.
And when I got involved and learned what the right approach was, then it was easy to structure my company, to be the most successful.
Yeah. I can imagine between that new lens that you have to apply to this business model with your lens of being able to think holistically at a systems level. It just creates such a really interesting kind of amalgamation of skill sets. So very cool, and we're so excited to be able to keep watching this as it grows. And of course, program ends, but WEtech is not going anywhere. We're still here to support, and we can't wait to continue on the journey with you and cheering you on and coming up beside you as you do it. So thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Awesome. We'll see you next time.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tony, the founder of Decades Developments. I've spent decades executing major projects across North America, including this one on the screen. And throughout these years, I've seen the same planning failures happen over and over again throughout the industry. And that's the experience is what led me to build the Project Wheel. The Project Wheel has become a part of my daily routine, and across major construction projects, routinely run billions over budget and years beyond schedule. These are just two of the major projects that I played major roles in. I've been on 6 major projects in total across North America, and unfortunately, they've all failed at finishing on time, and they've all ran billions over budget. Across the industry, most projects finish late. That's a given. I would more likely say all major projects have finished late, the ones that I've been on. That's at least half of these delays, if you trace them back, goes back to inadequate planning and scheduling. And the issue, like most of us would like to believe that the software is there today to help these projects, but the issue is that most of these projects report on problems after they happen, and they don't provide the insights in time to make changes and to source correct as the project goes. Problems with estimates. Estimates are built in silos. They lack, robust execution logic. And schedules are disconnected from implementation logic. And as teams then start projects on plans and estimates that are not valid from the beginning. And it's this disconnected and this invalid estimates and schedules that lead to these major overruns and delays. The Project Wheel connects the estimating, scheduling, and execution under one environment. It converts estimates into executionable schedules. It embeds the industry planning logic and then monitors the projects in real time. It can identify risk and be proactive so teams can act in time and catch the delays. As we all know, major industrial projects aren't going away, as our Prime Minister calls them nation-building projects, and we have plenty more to come. So the corporations today are spending 5 to 7% on poor management software. And after decades of using this software, I know even recently, like as soon as I pitch my software, they're actively looking and willing to jump on board just with a 20-minute pitch of how and when I can start and how I can bring people on board. So where does the Project Wheel fit? Well, most teams are stitching together disconnected tools that just document and report problems, often too late to do anything about them. Even the strongest platforms don't identify problems, and mostly because it's manual inputs. We sit there for hours and just manually importing scheduling logic and procurement items and trying to build out the millions of documents required for a project. The Project Wheel is trained on proven execution logic and strategies. It's industry best practice and years of practical experience. I'm transitioning currently a project manager on one of my industrial projects that I'm running to train them on the project wheel, to help them to get involved, to get an understanding of how today's modern technology can help us, and get them to transition from these pilots. And currently, I'm scoping with multiple industries to both enterprise and mid-tier pilots for further validation and refinement. The intent is that after the pilots is to get these companies to shift from the pilots to SaaS licensing so that they can operate with their own teams and to be successful in-house. The project wheel is built from decades of execution experience. Supporting me is a group of people with expertise, decades of expertise, from execution logic to training to safety leadership, and their role is to ensure that the project wheel reflects how projects run in the field and not just how the software tracks them, but to get real life feedback. In 2026, we are building credibility and trust through actively supported projects. After successful projects, pilots, the intent will be that we move the customers into actual SaaS licensing in the platforms, to have them to buy the license and for groups and teams of individuals. And moving into 2027, after we build that recognition in the market, we will be tapping into the wait list of project managers that are currently interested and have signed up for the free tier. They will launch directly on SaaS platforms through direct sales and supported by implementation engineer. Our focus in 2028 is to scaling the platform, and where the consulting will only be used to validate new modules in the software. We're planning to launch our Windsor office later this year and hiring 2 people locally. We have a board of industry advisors with deep execution experience, and we are proud to partner with the University of Windsor and WEtech Alliance to bring AI-driven construction planning to Windsor. This prize would accelerate opening our Windsor office. It supports our first technical local hires and pilot onboarding, and it helps us to bring on co-op students to capture live feedback and bring it back to incorporate it as we develop and improve the program. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your pitch. Curious on the onboarding process. Currently, you said that you're taking the time to onboard project managers onto the actual platform. What does that process look like, and about how long does it take?
The process, because of the major projects, like for instance, just a month ago, the director brought me into his office and I demoed my project in front of him. Within 20 minutes, he was like, okay, we've seen how I could expedite and solve some of those problems. It's like, when can I have 4 people? And it was, the validation part is because it transforms people, and AI and technology transforms people from the doing to the validation. And validation is so much faster than, right, to upload a set of construction documents, have a schedule and estimate in front of you to validate within minutes is amazing. And engineers, project managers, they don't trust AI, they trust outcomes. And within minutes, when they see the outcomes and the knowledge base that my AI is built on, it's that transitioning is happening fast. It's really, I have to kind of slow down the process to get myself established with an office implementation. And as in the podcast, it's the business part, building the business before I need to walk before I run. So it's,
Thank you so much.
oh, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Gale. Colby Wu is a second-generation entrepreneur with deep roots in our automotive sector here in Windsor, Essex. But when he imagined the evolution of the business he and his father built, they envisioned solving problems for our region's other longtime keystone economic engine, the greenhouse agriculture industry. Let's take a look. As you're leaving ScaleUp, what's a little bit clearer for you as a founder than when you started?
Honestly, I think the mentorship really, really made a difference. And like I said, I've been in business for already 20, 30 years, and I grew up in business. So, I thought I knew business really well.
Yeah.
But in reality, I didn't know very much. There's just a lot of different things that I learned through the mentorship program, more of like marketing strategies, total addressable SOM, market availability, and how to present and how to get investors. And those are the things that they don't really teach you in school.
Yeah.
Like there's no place that you could just find those things out unless you actually join WEtech or find a mentor that has that time to even do that. And most of the mentors, they don't have the time. They're just going to be like, oh, they'll give you the minimal amounts. But, WEtech really, really emphasizes on that mentorship. And, it's not just the mentors that you guys assign us with, but, if I needed a problem, I could come to you, Adam, and I know you'll help me.
Yeah, of course.
And that's honestly the best thing that I could ever ask for as an entrepreneur is like, I need people that are willing to help me.
Yeah.
Right. And
for sure.
and no one does that.
Yeah.
Right? No one does that. Like, you go to the real world, they're like, I don't have time for you. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. So honestly, I'm very happy with your organization, and I think it's making a big impact for entrepreneurs. And like I said, it's the beginning cornerstone of an entrepreneur's journey, really, to come to you. And when anyone talks to me about it and has a good idea, and I'm like, listen, you got to talk to Adam at WEtech. Like, this guy knows his stuff. Like, really knows his stuff. Like,
That's
you got to
awesome.
talk to him.
Well, I appreciate that. I love that you've learned a lot. And to be honest, like, we learn so much too. Every time we run this program, every time we sit across from an entrepreneur, we're learning something about this journey and how to help the next one that comes through our door. So thank you so much and best of luck. And we can't wait to follow along.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you, guys.
I want to tell you a quick story. This is the most common way greenhouses were built 30 years ago. And simply, they were grown on the floor. Until one day, someone said, why don't we raise it 1 foot? Like this. And every single greenhouse owner ridiculed this man and said that this guy is just wasting money on infrastructure. Well, why? Like, why we could do it when you could just do it free on the floor? Like, this guy's an idiot. The reality is, raising it up created airflow, and airflow helped the plants. And the plants grew bigger, stronger, and more productive. This is the exact same opportunity that you'll see with ThermaRoot. It's a father and son duo. We own Stratus Plastics, a 24 hours, 5 days a week operation, running 36 full-time employees for the past 20 years. Opening a division called Stratus Agro is a target specifically for the greenhouse sector. When you look at this greenhouse, you see productivity, but what you don't see is operational pressure. Greenhouses today face rising energy costs, disease risks, climate volatility, and tightening profitability. Heating alone could represent up to 35% of production costs, and in winter, up to 80%. If you look at this picture, this is where you see the central heating comes from. We heat the air, we heat the structure, we heat the entire greenhouse volume. But plants don't grow from air, they grow from roots. When root temperatures fluctuate, plants suffer, and we see deformities and we see disease pressure. And cooling isn't better. We mist, we ventilate, but the root zone remains unstable. And this is why we built ThermoRoot. ThermoRoot stabilizes the root with precision heating and cooling. A stable root zone means higher yields and lower energy heating demands. Instead of heating thousands of cubic meters of air, we apply exactly where the plant lives. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Here's that metal gutter that we discussed. And this is ThermoRoot. Right here. And all we're trying to do is simply think of in-floor heating in your house, but bringing it right to the plant, like this. There's no wasted energy heating. There's no wasted energy heating air. No wasted energy heating structure. We deliver heating and cooling exactly where the root zones matter. You can see this in the wintertime where it's cold. And you can see the illustration that we're trying to heat the root zone. And same thing for the summertime, we would try to cool the roots. These are real pictures. In a 2025 trial, we saw a 20% increase in fruit and vegetable weight. We also saw uniform fruiting, reduced blossom end rot, and 0 fusarium outbreaks. We didn't try to control the entire greenhouse environment. We stabilized the most important variable in plant performance, the root. While ThermoRoot is our flagship innovation, our business model is intentionally hybrid. ThermoRoot systems are sold through distributors and greenhouse integrators. Our revenue pillar 2 is trays, bins, and related parts, are manufactured domestically and sold directly by Stratus Agro. This removes distribution markups, improves cost control, and protects growers against tariffs and supply chain disruptions. We have 8 new SKUs coming online. Trials with Vineland Research with Grodan and Hogadorn, who are the 2 biggest players in the greenhouse market. And our target market is Leamington, Ontario. ThermoRoot is patent pending. We currently have no competitors for root zone heating in hanging gutter systems. Hanging gutter greenhouses make over 95% of the market in Leamington alone. And we're starting in Windsor, Essex. 4,500 acres of greenhouse production, the largest vegetable greenhouse cluster in North America. $30 billion in global greenhouse market, and under $8 million just in North America alone. But here's the kicker. Leamington does $1.8 billion in market, and that is in our backyard. In year 1, our revenue is approximately just under $1 million, growing to under $2 million in year 2, and just under $3 million in year 3. The growth is supported by lean staffing in Windsor, 4 to 8 employees. Most importantly, this forecast, only a small penetration of the Leamington market. At a $1.8 billion local greenhouse market, we're capturing just 0.05% in year 1, and 0.1% in year 2, and 0.15% in year 3. ThermoRoot has the potential to become the new standard in greenhouse growing, just as hanging gutters once did. As climate change brings more instability, rising costs, and greater pressures on growers, ThermoRoot is not just an innovation, but it's becoming a necessity. By helping control the most important part of the plant, the root zone, we can create stronger crops, better yields, and a more resilient future for the greenhouse growing. This award helps us move faster, build in Canada, and bring that vision to life. We are excited to welcome investment and partnership opportunities as we take the next step. Thank you.
All right, judges.
Hi, Colby. Thank you for your presentation. I learned a lot about plants today. My background is tech, and immediately my mind goes to tech. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit or explain a little bit about the technology that you mentioned when we walked around in your pitches about being able to use IoT or other devices to be able to regulate the temperature of your device.
Absolutely. So in greenhouses today, we have two big suppliers. Hogan Dorn is a PLC controller, and they control a significant portion of the whole greenhouse industry as a whole. And what we mean by PLC controls is they control the water feeds, the temperature, the fans. They control everything. Everything's fully automated, essentially. They partnered up with Grodan, who is actually the supplier of all of these growing mediums in the world. And they built a product called GrowSense. And GrowSense is a sensor that goes directly in the slab. And with it being directly in the slab, what they're trying to measure is temperature and water retention. And what that means is Thermaroot is providing a tool for them to actually tie into and completely automate the whole system. So let's say we go into winter and we know that we're going to get a very cold few hours. They could preheat automatically without anybody touching a single thing. And you wouldn't even know the system's in there because it's going to be right underneath, protected from all elements. The product will last more than 20 years.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Colby Wu. So our next presenter, Brittany Charlton, is not new to the world of entrepreneurship. And after scaling her first business, O Foods, she found a problem at an almost unimaginable scale. Environmental shocks have put the world's cocoa supply at risk. And some innovation, it leverages microchips, but Brittany, she's gone all in on chocolate chips. Let's take a look.
Watching your company grow and your ideas kind of grow over the course of just this 6-month program, I've always been so blown away by the amount of activity that you come to the table with every time we get the chance to sit down and connect.
Thank you.
This program ends, but WEtech doesn't, right? WEtech is still here to support and to kind of be along as a partner in this journey for you. I'm curious, what's more clear, or is anything more clear at the end of this journey of Scale Up before you pitch than when you came into this program?
I would say what's more clear is our finances. Just really being clear on, how to read a P&L sheet, how to read our balance sheet, how to actually create one from scratch, create a model as well. That's been really clear. And then also how to look at our customers. So we didn't just say, okay, well, we're selling it at this price. We tiered them out and said, okay, well, how much do they actually, like in tier 1, for example, how much do they actually buy per year? And then how much do they normally buy their traditional chocolate for, and what do we need to be selling at for it to be competitive, essentially, and like really tiered it out. And that was such a great exercise for us to really figure out the next level of where we need to be. And then even pitching to investors, like they wanted that information. And so it just brought us more investment ready when we were talking to them and speaking about the business and where we are and what we think we're going to do. For them seeing the financials, it was like, okay, like you know what you're doing and you're good here.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, I'm so glad you got so much value out of it.
Thank you.
We're so excited to see where this business goes next and how it continues to evolve. And thank you for letting us be a part of that journey.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. When's the first time that you remember chocolate? For me, that memory starts when I was a little girl. Peanut M&Ms were my absolute favorite. And if I was having peanut M&Ms during family movie night every Friday, I knew it meant two things for me. The week was finally over, was the first one, and the second one is that I could finally sleep in the next day. But back then, I never once thought about where chocolate came from, and I definitely never imagined a world where chocolate might not be accessible. I'm Brittany Charlton, and I'm the founder of Chocovate Labs. And in my early 20s, I built my first food company. And I'll never forget the day that my co-manufacturer called me and said, "Hey, Brittany, your chocolate chips just went from $3 per pound to $8 per pound. How do you want us to handle that?" And I honestly thought it was a mistake, but it wasn't. It was the moment that I realized that the global chocolate industry was in crisis. For over 100 years, the global industry has relied on a single fragile ingredient, which is the cocoa bean. And today, that dependency is breaking. The last 2 years, cocoa prices have skyrocketed more than 500%, reaching record highs of $10,000 per metric ton. Cocoa farming has been devastated by climate change, disease, and deforestation, and the global industry actually has no backup plan. Large players like Mondelez and Hershey's have actually reported record declines in profit, and companies like Barry Callebaut, which is the largest company for chocolate manufacturing, has actually begun to partner with cocoa-free chocolate alternatives to divert out of traditional chocolate. And that's exactly why Chocovate Labs exists. We're a B2B ingredient technology company recreating the key functional behaviors of chocolate without any cocoa. We're focused on a $130 billion global market and then focused on a SOM of $500 million. Within our application, we're focused in on products such as cookies, brownies, and muffins, where our chocolate chip cookies could go into. In the future, we'll plan to do powder chocolate, and then focusing on liquid, and then also cocoa butter substitutes, where our cocoa butter substitute can go into products like cosmetics. Our technology today is fat structuring, and through oleogelation, we're able to create a product that's 20 to 50% cheaper than traditional chocolate, 9 times faster to produce, so we actually connect with co-manufacturing partners. We do not build our own infrastructure, and through their machinery, we're able to produce our product 9 times quicker. That allows co-manufacturers to want to work with us. Our product goes in, spends about an hour and 30 minutes instead of spending 72 hours with it, such as traditional chocolate. We also use simple, clean ingredients, which allows manufacturers also to want to work with us as well. Within baking, our product holds its structure and has a similar taste profile as many of you guys have tried today. And if you haven't, out there by our booth, we have some chocolate chip cookies that you're able to try and see the difference. There won't be any, but I'm happy for you guys to try them. Today, we have about 30 qualified B2B partnerships that we've moved forward with. And through WEtech, we've actually been connected with a law office where we've been able to start our IP process through fat structuring. We're the only company that's really focused on fat structuring. All the other companies are more focused on fermentation, so that's really differentiating us. And then on top of that, we're not adding additional CapEx within the co-manufacturing partners that we work with. Today, we have about $125K in non-dilutive funding, and that covers about 50% of our R&D costs as well. Oh, and lastly, we have partnerships with University of Guelph and University of Windsor. University of Windsor was the only university actually that had the machinery and items that we needed to do our testing. This is our 2026 financial outlook, and our revenue basically begins in May. Our burn right now is disciplined and it's intentional, and then as we scale into manufacturing, that really changes. By December, we become cash flow positive, and we're looking at a $1 million a year. And how we're really structuring that is through our tiered customers. So we've tiered them out 1, 2, and 3, and we're really focused in on smaller bakeries and cafes, with about 31 of our customers coming from there, and then mid-sized bakeries. So if you think anyone such as like Dare Foods that we started to work with, that would be a mid-sized bakery or customer for us. And then a large enterprise customer is more of like a Loblaws that we've been speaking to, or a Mondelez, for example, who we've started to partner with as well. Today, we're a team of 4 women, and I've personally scaled manufacturing and products into Costco and Walmart, and I've built 7-figure partnerships, as well as dealt with complex supply chains, and we have great advisors from Hershey's, Unilever, and Cadbury with decades of experience helping us really scale this out. We're currently raising $500,000 to really close our pre-seed round, and that helps us with registering our IP, moving to our first revenue with our clients that we have, locking in our formulation, and then accessing the non-dilutive capital that we have in place right now. Every single one of us grew up with chocolate. It's woven into every celebration, every childhood memory, and every Friday night that we possibly have had. Cocoa is going away, but chocolate doesn't need to, and with your support, it won't. Thank you.
All right, judges.
I'll go ahead and ask a question. Thank you so much for this incredible presentation, and can confirm the cookies do, in fact, taste exactly like chocolate. I am just curious, again, I think I asked you a similar question when we were doing our rounds. You know, I am not in the food manufacturing business, and so what is the biggest hurdle that you're facing right now to get to the next phase?
Yeah, so our hurdles right now are more around funding and being able to supply the customers that we have. So we have great funnels, so such as like Mondelez, for example, and then smaller tier customers. But the biggest thing for us has been funding and getting that funding going. We do have non-dilutive capital, but that needs, again, funding to even access it. And so that's been honestly one of our biggest hurdles so far. I've funded the company to date where we are right now. And just to move forward, we definitely need to close our round. So if anyone in here has any connections, really welcome that. Thank you.
Beautiful, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a brief interlude and back into pitches. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your 1-minute reminder to head on back to your seats as the pitches will continue momentarily. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if I get your attention, we're all going to head back in now and get started again. Please take your seats. Gord, I appreciate you. All right. Well, let's get rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, our next presenter, Josipa Petrovic, she lives her mission every single day. So when she wanted to build a product that helped increase transit ridership, decrease greenhouse gas emissions, and unlock new revenue for transit agencies across Canada, she built technology based on her own expertise and her own experience. And the results are really amazing. So let's take a look.
This program's almost at its end. We have the pitch finals coming up. But I'm curious, what's more clear for you coming out of ScaleUp than it was coming in?
Definitely what's clearer for me is the market opportunity. When I walked in, I thought, okay, well, there's so many people in Canada and so many more have to take transit. But having come into ScaleUp, I've really refined, well, what is the market? And that market is that 4 million people. How many of them could access it? Well, the people who have smartphones, which is about 90% of those people. And then how many do I want to get going in the first few years? Well, I want to get going about 1 million of them. So a quarter of the market is feasible. That coming in, I had a very blurry idea of like, it's a big market, but I have to say ScaleUp has really helped to focus the accessible market and what's the art of the possible so that you can convince angel investors that this is a serious deal.
That's brilliant. Well, we're so excited to see the mountains that you continue to move with this project, and so excited to be a partner in it as you continue on. Thank you so much for trusting us with your journey.
Well, thank you for your help and all of the coaching investment. I mean, we wouldn't be where we are without your help.
Well, we do it because we really value the companies that we get to work with and the vision that you're able to bring to the table. So best of luck, and we'll see you very shortly.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Josipa Petronic, and I'm the owner and founder of TransitRewards.ca. And TransitRewards.ca is exactly what it sounds like. It's a loyalty program for transit riders. But what it really is a data analytics company for transit agencies. Today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the big problem that we're trying to solve with a really nimble solution. And then we're going to walk you through why we think this is a truly investable company. So here's the problem. If you're a transit rider, you know this. Transit agencies don't know anything about you. They don't know who you are. They don't know your age. They don't know your income. They don't know if you identify as a woman, a man, transgender. And most importantly, they do not know, typically, where you get on and off the bus, which means they do not know how to plan their services. Most transit planning in this country is not evidence-based fundamentally. And so as a result, we don't get transit going where we need it to go. And because transit doesn't know about you and can't communicate with you, it cannot offer you incentives. It can't say, hey, Josipa, the bus is late. Why don't you take the bus a little bit later and we'll give you 50% off the ride. It can't offer time of use pricing, and it can't offer you anything that might incentivize you to stay in transit when it's really inconvenient. So overall, the problem is transit knows nothing about you. It is one of the few industries out there that knows almost nothing about its customer base. We've come up with a solution that we think is super nimble and makes it really easy for transit agencies to overcome this problem. First, we leverage the technology that is on your phone. And the one thing that transit agencies really don't like any taxpayer-based organization, is heavy-duty equipment that they have to buy, install on the bus, operate, and maintain. So using the technology on your phone, we've come up with a solution whereby you download an app. It's like any loyalty program. You fill in the information that you're comfortable providing. The more information you provide, the higher your points tiers go. So obviously you're getting paid for your data. But then we leverage the information and the technology on your phone, the gyroscope, the accelerometer, the magnetometer, combine it with cellular data, and then layer on top something we call general transit feed specification data. That's a lot of gibberish just to say it knows exactly where the buses are going and which bus you're on. Layer that all together, and now we have a mechanism that allows transit agencies to know where its people are going, where its customers want to go, where they're not going, so they can actually optimize their fleet, saving taxpayer dollars and giving us all the better transit that we deserve. When you package that all together and you then show the government that this is actually auditable data, we then have the open potential for potential carbon credits. Package that all together to retailers, and you now give retailers an opportunity to target new transit riders, a new customer base. So we have a vision to radically disrupt public transit by giving it the data that it finally needs to optimize its system. And we're going to do it through 4 simple steps. One is a mobile-based application that is hands-free. It does not require tapping on and tapping off like most smart card systems because it uses that tech on your device already. And then with that, we're going to map that onto the demographic data that gets transit agencies the data they need to know where to send the buses, where to send the LRT, where to build the subway, and then package that all up, and we're going to work with the government to make sure that agencies are now getting new carbon credit revenues, which they could not get before. So we believe that this application has very clear benefits to all of our customers. To the transit agencies, it's pretty obvious. They finally figure out where they should send the buses. To the customers, the users of the app, you get paid to take transit. There's no better way to incentivize people to do something than to pay them. And for the retailers, it creates a new market that they can target in a way that's much more dynamic than static ads on a bus. Our market right now is 4 million people in Canada who take transit every single day just to commute, not including students or leisure riders. 27 million people in the United States across 330 agencies. Well, about 90% of those people have smartphones, which you need to have in order to have a transit app. As a result, we're targeting those 90%, and I'm trying to get to 1.25 million, or 30% of the transit market in Canada in the first 5 years. We think it's totally doable because we have the team that knows how to access that market. Our team at Transit Rewards has over 20 years of transit leadership experience, over 40 years of R&D experience. Our board of directors has over 100 years of transit leadership experience. They are the leaders, past general managers, and directors of transit. Our transit advisory committee is composed of our first pilot communities from Brampton to Mississauga to Hamilton and London, who are currently the CEOs of their transit. And we have a technical team that has advised us to develop a much more robust business plan. And what is that business plan? It's a plan that creates investor value by monetizing transit ridership and turning it eventually into carbon credits. Our financial plan starts small as a small startup, scaling to about 11 million in profit by year 5, which we think is completely sustainable and incremental. So right now, in terms of an investor perspective, there are 2 baselines for making money out of the transit reward system. The first is subscription fees. It's a very basic business model, and therefore we think successful. Agencies and retailers pay subscription fees to get access to all of this data that they needed desperately yesterday to build the systems of today. If they want more analytic data and causality and correlation, well, then they're going to pay us consulting fees. And over the course of the next 5 years, that turns into carbon credit monetization and carbon credit revenues. Right now, that hands-free system that does not require tap on, tap off, that sets us apart. The data analytics that we're offering sets us apart. And the carbon credit value, we are the only company in the world right now offering that through a transit application. We have right now our minimum viable product, and we're working on piloting in 4 communities. We hope to make Windsor the 5th soon. And we're engaging retailers because we think the easiest way to attract retailers is to start with the larger retailers like the malls, who can offer us a whole host of retailers all in one package deal. This slide is just meant to scare you a little bit, but really to relieve you on the basis that we're constantly doing SWOT analyses of our competitors. And we know that we are consistently ahead of the competitors here because not one of them does what we do in full, and all of them require a hands-based device. They require a near-field communication device, which is expensive and clunky. So where we are today, we are working with our 4 pilot agencies to launch. Next year, we're turning to doubling that into 8 pilot agencies. The following year, we are looking to scale to attract one of the large agencies in Canada, and we believe it will be TransLink because they are issuing an RFP in that year. By 2029, that is when we will be commercially mature, having accessed that 1.25 million. And by 2030 is when I do truly believe, because I've drunk my own Kool-Aid, I truly believe that we will be able to get our carbon credit regulation in place. The intellectual property plan for investors that underpins this, I share this only to say efficiently and effectively, I did not believe that we could patent this when I started it. I simply believed it would be copied because code is copied. I now know, thank you to the WEtech program and coaches, it is entirely patentable. And for that, I'm grateful because it makes it a highly investable idea. With that, I want to thank you because we are on the pathway to disrupting public transit. We truly believe public transit should have been disrupted years ago. It is going to be disrupted in the most healthy way by getting data to data companies and getting those data companies, well, Transit Rewards, to get that information to the transit agencies that need it to build the transit that you and I deserve, one bus at a time. Thank you very much.
All right, judges.
Hello again. What is the biggest challenge that you're facing right now?
The challenge is threefold in one challenge. Why do agencies not jump on this already? Because it's such a logical idea in my mind. The first challenge within that is their technical knowledge. Most transit agencies think you need a near-field communication device, you need a telemetry device, you need a Bluetooth device, you need some kind of hardware on the vehicle for it to know where people are. That is not true any longer with machine learning, AI, and GPS overlaying with data sets. So it's that lack of technical knowledge that is a legacy problem we are overcoming. The second tied to that is for those agencies that do have that information, that knowledge, they're very often tied into legacy ticketing systems. Presto is a great example. It's a legacy ticketing system. And what that means is very often those systems will not allow APIs to be built for other apps to integrate, so the system is stuck. They're stuck with a ticketing system that won't build a rewards program, but can't do it and won't allow anybody else entry. So those two things combined do create some inertia in the system. But I don't see it as a barrier because the 4 pilot agencies we're working with not only play in those spaces, but they are fed up with the lack of data that they have received. And I think there's only so long that that consternation can be contained. It is a time of climate action in this country. It is a time of data sovereignty in this country. It is a time of growing our economic prowess in this country. And there's no better way to move this economy and to save the environment than getting people into transit and out of their cars. So I believe we will be able to overcome those challenges.
Ladies and gentlemen, Transit Rewards. 6.5 million. That's the estimated number of people in Canada walking around today exhausted because sleep apnea is silently robbing them of a good night's rest, and very loudly robbing everyone else around them of a good night's rest as well. Current methods for diagnosis are a bottleneck, and JSB, amazing team behind the next presentation, decided to take that on. Let's take a look. You're both at this stage where ScaleUp is closing in the next little bit. We still have our pitch to go, but we're coming up to that point where the program kind of ends. Although your work with WEtech is only just beginning. What are some of the things that you feel are a little bit more clear for you as founders as you head into the closing of this program?
So we joined this ScaleUp program to commercialize our product. And right now we can clearly see the path. We have the blueprint design. We are contacting the manufacturer to make the first 100, 200 batches of the product, which we can send it to sleep clinic for pilot runs. So we can clearly see our path, and it has definitely accelerated our go-to-market part of the business.
Wonderful. Well, you're going to change a lot of lives with this product. We have full faith in that at WEtech and your coaches and team here. And so we're so grateful to be a part of this journey with you and cannot wait to see it continue to develop and get into the hands of real-world patients. So thank you so much, and we'll be watching.
Thank you so much
for inviting us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello everyone, how are you guys doing today? Today we are from JSB Innovation, a Windsor-based startup focused on AI-powered wearable sensors for sleep health. And we are today excited to present our WEtech ScaleUp pitch. Our team consisted of multidisciplinary knowledge, bringing on board 20+ years of expertise. I'm Bhavya, CEO of JSB Innovation, and an expert in embedded designing.
I'm Lina Rose, biomedical engineer, specialized in wearable electronics, and I'm the CTO of the company.
So the picture that you see over here is a reality. There are many people who are suffering from sleep apnea, and everybody knows somebody who is suffering from sleep apnea. Despite the strong prevalence, the system isn't designed to handle that much of volume, hence giving rise to strong wait time, and people are still suffering for their turn to come.
Even after waiting for more than half an year, what the patient feels is ultimate distress with all the wires around when you visit a real sleep clinic. And the fact is that whatever you are being checked for or diagnosed for is far from the reality. What you see here in the picture is a typical sleep clinic where the patient carry a bulky equipment, very uncomfortable clinical setting, and overnight lab visit. So the staff have to stay with the patient all throughout the night for the clinical trials. So it's up to you to decide if you want to sleep with all wires around or at the comfort of your home. At JSB Innovation, we streamline this detection of sleep apnea much earlier with our smarter, more comfortable, wearable, AI-powered device. So here is how our solution works. The breathing sensor captures the real-time signal from the chest of the patient, transmit the data wirelessly through a mobile device. The data is then processed using AI-driven algorithm for detecting the respiratory patterns together with the irregularities. Clinicians and users can use this data to monitor your sleep health and to diagnose you at the comfort of your home.
So the graph over here, we have compared the data with the spirometer, which is a clinically proven and medical grade device. So the graph that you see over here is the direct comparison of our novel sensor and the spirometer instrument. And we have developed the algorithm and validated with 20 participants at Human Kinetics Department at University of Windsor and achieved an accuracy of 94%.
We see a very good market here. Globally, the sleep diagnostics and monitoring market is projected to reach around $13 to $15 billion investment. This is due to the fact that there is a rising prevalence from the hospitals or sleep clinics to home-based solutions. In Canada alone, we see a market of $1 billion, Ontario representing 50 million initial opportunity.
So our competitors' devices are either too complex to put on, or they are put on their arms or wrist, giving rise to issues such as overestimation. With our highly accurate device, we are going to address those issues and capturing minute details, hence reducing the chances of overestimation. With this advantage, we are going to place ourselves very strongly in the market, which is very, very strong with the numbers that we just see. So question arises, why now? The limited capacity of the sleep clinics, there are only few numbers of beds to accommodate the patients, and the medtech market is not prepared for the AI advancements. It is highly dependent on the technicians and the availability of technicians overnight. The gaps that we see in Canadian market are the long wait times for the patients. Patients has to wait for getting diagnosed, the lack of digital security and privacy protection, and shortage of the overnight technicians. Our key advantage include the streamlining process that we do for the diagnostic of the sleep apnea. Plus, it's designed for keeping in mind the security and privacy of the patients, plus for the scalable for the workflow of the sleep clinics.
To better understand our market, we structured our approach based on wants, needs, and desire. So we are interviewing physicians and patients with a sample size of 5 physicians to 50 patients. On interviewing, 3 of the physicians have agreed to our market fit and have shown interest in doing the clinical trials with us.
So we have adopted a B2B model, and we are focusing on sleep clinics, equipment distributors, and the hospitals, with the recurring model of giving the device on rentals, and hence generating the revenue over time.
Our go-to-market strategy is very risk-free and phase-aware. We start with consumer-friendly packages of level 3 devices on our development process, followed by Ontario clinic pilots, where we deploy devices for the existing workflows. Next, we validate and calibrate our devices with the standard polysomnography, which some of you might know, and the other home-based solutions. Finally, we would like to get the Health Canada approval through the regulatory pathway. After getting the Health Canada approval in the expansion phase, we would like to target European markets, followed by FDA to launch in US.
We started our journey in 2023, and since then, 17 people have worked with us, including co-op opportunities. In 2024, we secured the US patent, and we started as University of Windsor affiliated startup in 2025. In the next 5 years, our focus will be on scalable manufacturing, doing the clinical trials, and generating revenue by 2030. Now, we have made creating a very good impact on the Windsor Essex region, including increasing the capacity for sleep clinics and employing engineers, the lawyers and business consultants. We are looking for having somebody to help with the regulatory pathway. The entire design is created here in Windsor Essex region, and we are focused on creating our headquarters in Windsor Essex as well. Ultimate beneficiary of our device will be the people, because they will be sleeping well because of the early treatment that they will receive, and the productivity of the region will increase definitely. So, yeah.
We are open to strategic partnerships and industry collaborations, right from product development, research, and commercialization. So we are inviting all the industry experts, clinicians, manufacturers, and investors who share our vision to take this home-based care solutions to move forward. At JSB Innovation, we are excited about the opportunity to transform early detection of sleep apnea at the comfort of your home. We would like to take any of your questions if you have any. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Judges, questions?
I'm just wondering, do you have proprietary software that goes along with the hardware that you also will control and potentially use as like a subscription type model for?
We have created our own application, and we are going to launch on both Android and iOS. Right now, it's in the process to be launched on iOS. So it's completely designed by the students that have worked at University of Windsor, including one of the co-op student that worked last summer. So yeah, we do have the proprietary software. Thank you.
Cheyenne Shigani is a proud Canadian who knows firsthand just how challenging it can be to pass the Canadian English proficiency testing to qualify for citizenship, and the financial strain that comes from having to take it multiple times. USpeak is a low-stress, low-cost way to build English skills built from experience. Let's take a look. As you scale or you close your ScaleUp journey and you continue the scaling journey, what is it about the program that's given you some clarity as a founder that you're going to take with you into the business moving forward?
So before the ScaleUp program, I was a pure developer, I would say. I didn't have much knowledge about business. Now I feel more like a businessman. I can turn anything into a business. And when you're just a developer, you don't have any idea of what the next step is, what the next chapter would look like, but having a roadmap or having a clear blueprint of the whole business model will give you more insight about the future, and you can't really rely on it after you validate the business idea. You can't really rely on those listed items that you have set up for yourself.
Well, I mean, you're looking like a CEO. You've got your Steve Jobs turtleneck on.
Thank you.
We're feeling good today. So, you know what? This is maybe the end of your ScaleUp journey or close to the end of the ScaleUp journey. We still have our pitches. But this is certainly not the end of your work here with WEtech. And we're so excited to be along that journey with you and continue on seeing this thing grow and continue to make impact. So thank you so much for working with us. We appreciate your trust. And we're excited for what comes next.
Thank you so much. It was great.
Thank you. Until next time.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cheyenne. I'm a certified English instructor and also the founder of the USpeak AI. So we built this application to help newcomers pass their English proficiency test through AI scoring and personalized feedback. And I went through the immigration process myself, and I realized you have to pass an English exam in each stage of your newcomer journey. And this is the reality to 400,000 immigrants every year. And you must pass this test to secure your future here in Canada. And this exam costs you $300, which is a lot of money for an immigrant. And it's either half of their rent or their groceries. It's just so much money that they can't afford to fail. And unfortunately, there's a high chance of failure. Around 67% of applicants fail their speaking section. And current market offers expensive private tutors and ineffective generic English learning apps, which don't really provide any exam-specific feedback. So that's why we created USpeak AI. USpeak AI is an AI exam simulator. We provide you topics with real exam timers, and it's really simple. You just get a question, then you record your answer, then you get an AI score out of 12. It's all based on official scoring, and this and then you get a model answer. And the model answer is all your ideas, all your words. We shape them into a high scoring response so you know how to improve. This is already live on both iOS and Android. And there are two organizations that test English proficiency. One of them is ScaleUP, the other one is IELTS. We are starting here in Windsor with the ScaleUP exam to validate our engine locally. Then we take that blueprint to dominate the ScaleUP space. And then finally, we scale to include the IELTS exam. When you look at the current market, on one hand, you have expensive private tutors, which give you the specific exam feedback, but they're still a burden to an immigrant, around $80 per hour. And on the other hand, you have generic English learning apps such as Duolingo, which don't really prepare you for the actual exam. So USpeak AI sits in the sweet spot. We provide you a highly specific rubric-aligned feedback of a private tutor at a cost that anyone can actually afford. our business model is very straightforward, very simple, no distractions, nothing, just a single workflow. At first, we give you 3 tests to start. Then you can buy what you need. Our pack started at 20 tests and all the way up to 100 tests for $49.99. This is risk-free and highly scalable. Our financial model is built for sustainable, high-margin growth. Because we are an automated platform, our costs remain incredibly low. In year 1, we initiate profitability here in Windsor, and then we take that blueprint to go nationwide. And by year 3, we're hitting $2 million in revenue and $300 in net profit by expanding ourselves to include the IELTS exam. And I'm incredibly proud to share that we have surpassed 1,000 active users, and we are available in 150 countries. You can already download it on both App Store or Google Play. And this is all made organically. We haven't spent anything yet in marketing. And currently, the feedback that we're getting from the users, they're saying they're loving the AI. That has helped them to get prepared for their test. One of them said that score that I got on the app was exactly the score that I got in the exam. So that just shows that this solution resonates with the current market needs, and newcomers are actively searching for a way to break the current gap. This timeline shows how rapidly we're scaling. So we just started in November, and we got early revenue generated in December. That organic momentum pushed us to reach top 100 education apps on App Store. And we partner up with Immigrate AI. They're also an AI-powered app for the immigration process, which has around 30,000 users. And we are also trying to partner up with UWindsor and Central College in this month. We already initiated discussions. We're also trying to include ourselves in settlement agencies and their programs to just have our pilot programs and workshops. So why should it be us? Because we built the tool we wish we had. As a certified instructor, I guarantee that our AI aligns 100% with the official exam logic. And I also have a deep technical background in both web and app development. Me and my team are all recent immigrants, so we have a lived experience, and we try to put it into work to just create what the market demands right now. So we are pitching today as you're part of the ScaleUP Cohort 9, and we want to make Windsor a hub for education technology. To catalyze this growth, we are seeking funding to scale 6 core pillars, as you see here, from our marketing engine to local talent acquisition. We're also looking for introductions to educational institutions and settlement agencies. We have the foundation ready, and we're just trying to find the right partners to help us grow. Thank you so much. I would love to take any questions you have.
Hello again. Thank you for an incredible presentation. I love the vision and the mission behind your company. No question on your pitch in particular, but I'm curious with this room that you have here, what would you ask of this room?
So we are just asking funding to just fuel the top funnel of our marketing funnel, to just raise awareness. We already have the foundation ready, and we're just trying to catalyze it with your help, trying to find partners, trying to include ourselves in language learning programs or in the educational institutions. We're just trying to grow, try to expand to other exams as well, other languages. The foundation is all ready. We just need to grow, and we're just asking for your help.
Amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, USpeak. All right, so just a quick reminder here, inside of your programs, ladies and gents, is a QR code that gives you access to all of these companies up here today. So we built a form that lets you give them feedback, propose connections, propose introductions, and so please use that throughout the program. Now, no one's felt the pressures of inflation quite like Canadian trades companies over the last year. And things really get compounded when the average plumbing SME needs to track hundreds or even thousands of parts. And then they need to invoice those parts in order for them to get paid. Enter Raneem Gallian and her brother, Abdul Kafi. They are AI experts who built a tool that helps without asking plumbers to change anything about the flow of their work. Pun intended. Let's take a look. This program is almost at an end. We've got our pitch coming up in March, but ScaleUp is wrapping for this year. I'm curious, as you're leaving the program, what's clear or more stable for you coming out of it than you were when you came into it?
Yeah, actually, Adopli before ScaleUp is very different than Adopli after ScaleUp. The growth coaches and the support we have get from ScaleUp and WEtech is really great. And also, it is like when you get somebody with very, very, very great and big experience helping you, that's really great, okay? And the resources we have done, we have got also like massive resources. So I'd like to thank you. We thank WEtech and thank you, Adam, for this invitation.
No, thank you for WEtech and the ScaleUp team and all the coaches. Yeah, it was a beautiful journey together, and we're looking forward.
We're only just the beginning, and I will say too, it's truly our pleasure to work with companies like yours and to provide these types of services and to get to see this stuff lift off the ground and just to think about the potential that this kind of technology and the fact that it's homegrown has for impacting our region. There's a lot of businesses that you could potentially be impacting here over the next little bit, and we're just so proud to be able to play even a small role in that, and we can't wait to continue that journey together and to be with you for all of it. So thank you both so much for trusting us with your business and with your journey, and we are so excited to see how things go on pitch night and beyond. So we'll look forward to it.
Thank you so much, Adam. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you all next time.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have a question for you, and a tough question. How have you ever worked hard and still need to wait too much before getting paid? Raise your hand, please, if you ever done this. Have this. Okay, all of us. Okay, keep it up if it was more than a month. Okay, okay. For for trade businesses and service businesses, this is not occasional. This is constant. And for plumbing and HVAC companies, there is an invisible money leak that they couldn't fix. And that's what we are doing in Adopli AI. My name is Raneem, co-founder of Adopli AI, and we built VoxBill to fix that leak. So we didn't imagine or discuss this problem in the boardroom. We had a design partner, Bobby's Plumbing, thanks for them. And we've met the two people at the heart of every trade business. Let's call them Sarah and Mike. So Sarah is the engine of the office. She runs it. She does invoices, codes, and other things. And Mike is in the field from job to job, from driveway to driveway. And when Mike finishes a job in a regular day, his hands are dirty, he is rushing to the next job. But he has to take a moment, and as we all do as workers, we document our work, right? So Sarah can create the invoice. So he has multiple options to do this. First, he can type for 5 minutes what he has done. Hey, I have changed the valve, I've done this and that for 2 hours and so on. Or he can send a quick voice note via WhatsApp, which is a messaging app, to Sarah. Or even write on a scratchy paper and send a photo of it. And in all cases, the data is incomplete and Sarah gets confused. So she calls him, what did you mean? And he is already in the next job, so he doesn't pick up. She calls again. He doesn't as well. So after 2 hours, he calls back, but oh my God, he is not sure what he has done in his scratchy paper. So data here is missing. And Sarah should rebuild this invoice, and it takes her from 15 to 20 minutes for each invoice. And guess what? It is not one invoice a day, it is 25 invoices a day for the average size of business. So this makes it so late for a business to get paid in days and sometimes weeks. And this is a real money leak. Can you see this chaos? Are you happy with it? Okay, so we are not done. Yeah. So Sarah, to understand what Mike and his colleagues are saying, she has to memorize over 2,500 items. So what if Sarah gets sick? What if she goes on a vacation? What if she quits? A new hire needs weeks and weeks of training. The payments will get delayed, the mistakes go up, and I don't think any business will be happy with a single point of failure in their business. So let's take one part of this big problem and calculate in numbers. I am an engineer, so I love numbers. So let's take an average, a small shop, okay, of 7 technicians and calculate how much is the lost from only missing parts. So the average part is $15, and let's conservatively think that it is one missing part every day from one technician. Not every job, every day, okay? So it will be more than $2,000 a month for the small shop. And this is for plumbing, but for HVAC and mechanics, it goes more than 4,000, and for mechanics, more than 6,000. And we didn't talk about Sarah's time doing the invoices for 3-4 hours a day, okay? So that's why we built Vox Bill. And it is designed for field. And you may be wondering, what does it mean for the field? It means that they will do what they actually were doing. They will use WhatsApp to do this invoice. It is the same workflow. They will send an invoice, and they will send the voice, and we will see. So it is 3 simple steps. So first, Mike will tap the customer's job, okay? So they will see the jobs here in WhatsApp and tap the specific job. Then they will take a photo of the part with a barcode and send it just like they are sending to their friend. And then it will be the voice note, okay, 30 seconds of the voice note, and after that the invoice will be created. This is 1.5 billion problem. And we are starting very niche with Jobber and then expanding with the QuickBooks and other FSMs in year 3. Our competitors tried to solve this problem, but there were many problems like friction and new apps and logins and this kind of stuff, many steps. Service T10 did it well, but actually it is for big teams. It costs more than $50,000 a year and needs lots of setup. And Jobber did a great job, but for the office, not for the field. So we are plugging into Jobber. to fix this. So we are not competing with them, we are completing them. So our business model is very simple. Setup fee for pricing catalog and barcodes and integrations, plus small monthly fee, and it recovers with less than a month, which is like finding a money, not losing money. So we are here in Windsor, and it has dense of trades here in the trade market, and we have multiple partnerships with Marda Management as sales partner, and we secure for our security, and of course Bobby's Plumbing. And as we are Google infrastructure, as we are Google Cloud partner, we have infrastructure from them. So me and my co-founder, Abdul Kafi, spent 7 years doing AI and technology. And we worked before this in consultations and also delivering automation projects to the, businesses overseas and here in Canada. And we found this problem. So we will use our prize to product management, product development, and sales acquisition, and tech infrastructure, and of course, admin and legal because it is invoicing. And let's build this together. Connect with us. We welcome all the opportunities, and thank you so much.
All right, judges.
So what are some of the risks or challenges that you're faced with right now?
Okay. Actually, we listed the challenges, for example, getting this solved from the other apps, okay? And we actually planned for it as well, okay? Because we are not planning for one app. We are planning for multiple apps, but we are starting with one. And we are very niched, so we can expand to other trades as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Not many people work inside an industry, look at an industry standard and say, I think I can build it better. But then again, most people aren't engineers that eat, sleep, and breathe problem solving. The team at Estare found a standard they really wanted to disrupt in automotive manufacturing, and the momentum they've created since has yet to slow down. Let's take a look. As we're wrapping up your ScaleUp journey here, of course, you're not wrapping up your experience with WEtech, but as this program comes to a close, what feels clearer for the both of you as founders than it did coming into it?
So there are 3 things I can classify that we have felt clear on. We have identified our own story much clearer. Like we can explain our story much better as part of WEtech. We have identified what challenges that we currently face, including we are actively looking for manufacturing space to expand our operational growth. We are also actively looking for introductions to automotive and manufacturing partners, investors who share our vision for innovation. And then third thing is what we have learned about our own team dynamics. We have started to decentralize all the work and take specific tasks between all of us and have start becoming more from a traditional startup to a more structured company. So those are the 3 things that have happened as part of ScaleUp.
Amazing. Well, it sounds like you have a strong direction, and we are so excited to see you continue on that way. So thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you.
For having us. Thanks, WEtech.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vedha Gibakshi. I am the founder and chief executive officer of Estare, a startup proudly based in Windsor, Ontario. I hold a master's in mechanical engineering, a Six Sigma black belt, with more than 8 years in automotive experience. Today, I'm excited to introduce you to packaging frames built for the future of modern manufacturing. I've spent years as a quality manager in the automotive industry, and I've witnessed packaging failures create significant hidden costs for the automotive supply chain. Despite this, packaging has not evolved in over 50 years. In the North American automotive supply chain, billions of dollars move through returnable packaging every year. It's essential, but also an expensive overhead. And having lived through that, I can tell you, companies never have enough packaging because it's expensive, leading to downtime, scrap, mishandling, and even safety risks. Steel frames that are the industry standard bring even more challenges. Steel is costly, heavy weight hurts the fuel economy, steel fabrication emits high CO2s, welding and coating require certified labor, adding costs and lead time, steel blocks radio signals, disrupting tracking, steel frames are non-modular, steel eventually rusts. Clearly, the system needs a smarter solution. Introducing Estare's Pack Series Plus. Pack Series Plus is made from fiber-reinforced plastic that overcomes the challenges of traditional steel frame while enabling doors to Industry 4.0. FRP is a modern material made from glass fibers and plastic resin. Being lightweight, modular, made in multiple colors, it eliminates cost associated to welding, coating, fuel inefficiency, and maintenance. It enables the auto industry to save money while saving on carbon emissions, entryway to sustainable capitalism. Being corrosion-proof and UV-resistant is the virtue of FRP material, and tested and qualified under the same requirements of ISTA, it ensures the same performance as that of a traditional steel frame. And as the industry moves towards digitization, FRP does not block radio signals and thus allows technology-agnostic RFID and IoT integration. Tracking has never been easier, delivering real-time data on location, temperature, shock, and even theft. The result? Unmatched visibility across supply chain, driving smarter decisions and greater efficiency. Pack Series Plus reaches the test machine's limit at 25,000 pound force, all while staying lighter, sustainable, and more cost-effective. Our technology is secured through US provisional patent application covering multiple footprints, sub-assemblies, and individual components. All confidential information at Estare is secured through employee confidentiality agreements and NDAs with our partners and customers. From a market perspective, currently, automotive steel frames cover a total addressable market of almost $4 billion globally. In North America, it is valued at about $1 billion. Estare plans to capture a benchmark segment of the North American market over the next 5 years, giving us a revenue potential of $20 million. Here's a life cycle cost versus functionality graph comparing Pack Series Plus to all of its competitors. Functionality combines the footprint and the stackability, whereas the lifecycle costs include implementation, maintenance, disposal, and replacement. Currently, the steel frames dominate 40% of the North American automotive packaging market, serving a wide range of commodities. We are targeting the steel frame segment head-on. When we compare Pack Series Plus to traditional steel frames, the value for the automotive industry is undeniable. Our key distinctions: 10% lesser cost than steel frames, 20% lower carbon emissions than steel frames, and 30% lighter than steel frames. Our mission is clear: replace the outdated steel frames with Pack Series Plus, a lighter, smarter, and more sustainable alternative. Our revenue model is business-to-business sales. Our target customers are automotive OEMs, Tier 1 to 3 suppliers, and packaging companies. Our revenue is driven through direct sales of Pack Series Plus with add-on customization services. What makes Estare special is we never give up. We always evolve. We started in 2020 during COVID lockdown, and throughout our journey, we have taken valuable feedback from automotive packaging experts. We built 6 versions before we had 7th as our successful MVP, and currently, we are in bi-weekly collaboration with a major automotive packaging company for outreach to 11 OEMs across North America. We are also in pilot program discussions with 2 Tier 1s in Windsor, Ontario. This resilience and adaptability define who we are and why we are ready to lead the change. We understand that automotive is one of the most risk-averse industries in the world, and that's why our go-to-market strategy is intentionally designed to mitigate risk step by step. We offer no-cost pilot frames during the pre-production builds. In the first 12 months, we are targeting low-volume, low-risk commodities, and by year 2 and onwards, we are targeting higher volume, larger and complex commodities as our customers become more risk-tolerant. This staged approach allows us to gain trust, validate performance, and naturally expand across the entire automotive value chain. We have built momentum over the past year, and currently 2 packaging companies are evaluating Pack Series Plus in their facility. We are set to hit the ground to achieve our serviceable operable market target in the next 5 years. All executives at Estare have management experience from managing resources, projects, budgets, and people in our previous careers. Kelvin holds a bachelor's in electrical engineering with more than 12 years in auto. Jay holds a master's degree with more than 8 years in auto. And finally, Nilesh, who holds an MBA with more than 30 years in IT industry. Also, we are guided and supported by 10+ growth coaches. We are proud to serve our current customers, the packaging and warehousing leaders such as Stephen Gold, Pine Valley Packaging, and Hearn. We have also had positive initial engagements with major automotive players, and we work in close collaboration with our partners such as WEtech Alliance and many others who share our vision for innovation. Now, we invite you to join us on this journey of creating real value for the future of automotive supply chain. We would love the opportunity to collaborate with automotive and manufacturing partners, to connect with investors who share our vision for innovation. Estare is actively seeking a manufacturing space to enhance operational growth, to connect with potential customers, and additional mentorship to accelerate scale-up. Together, we can launch, scale, create jobs, and streamline the entire supply chain for a sustainable future. In conclusion, I would like to thank the judges and the audience for their valuable time and attention today. I look forward to providing clarity when needed. Thank you.
All right, judges.
Thank you for your presentation. Earlier, we spoke a little bit about some of your challenges with the auto industry and them being resistant to change. What are some things that the people in this room can help you with solving that problem?
Certainly, that's a very good question that will help us grow. If people in this room can help companies try out our packaging, get us more interacted, have them visit us or us demonstrate our product in their facility, the initial touch point would be very helpful. Getting to see the product in hand, in function, because believing is after we see it and after we validate it.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Estare. Well, folks, that is your Cohort 9 WEtech ScaleUp. So much hard work represented on this stage today, and you see a fraction of it, but we get to see behind the scenes in what actually takes place, and it is just so inspiring. These folks that came up here today are just wonderful human beings, and we're all lucky to have them in our backyard. So this is your Dragon Den moment. On the screen right now, you're going to see a QR code. I want you to scan it. Please pick your favorite team from the drop-down menu and hit submit. Voting for the People's Choice Award, powered by Baker Tilly, is open for the next 20 minutes. After that, the judges are going to take some time to deliberate. They have a very tough job today. And while they do that, I want to encourage everyone to get up and explore the showcase zone, connect with the founders. Now, this is the part of the day where you get to act on that task that I gave you. Go introduce yourself. If you have feedback for any of the teams, there's also that QR code inside of all your programs, so you can give it to them directly. And we're going to reconvene here at 3:30 to announce the winners. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in just a bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we officially get back into the program, just want to take one more minute to recognize all the elected officials that are here with us today. We know how busy your schedule is. Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for joining us. It's so great to see you. Councillors, MPs, MPPs, it's so important that you get the chance to witness the work that these companies are doing in our community. We're so lucky to have you here. So, when I rolled out of bed today and put on this rental suit, I Googled Ryan Seacrest. And I held up my phone and I said, yep, looking just like a mirror, for sure. Because this is my moment to be Ryan Seacrest, and I want to thank all of you for participating in the People's Choice Award powered by Baker Tilly. This is a really great award that we get to give out now. This is the second year that we get to do it, that goes the extra mile to recognize a company that's kind of captured your hearts and captured your interest and captured the room in terms of imagining what's possible when we believe in the amazing people that were up here today talking about their ideas and visions. And so I'm very proud to announce, I won't do the whole Ryan Seacrest 40 minutes of talking thing. I'm very proud to announce that the People's Award winner for today, ScaleUP Cohort 9, is Transit Rewards. And to help celebrate their win, I'd like to invite Susie Kustra, our manager of programs, and Alma Alau, our program coordinator, to come on up and take this photo with me. And as she does that, I just want to remind everyone, this program doesn't happen without these program staff who work so incredibly tirelessly to make today and the rest of the program happen. So thank you.
Thank you.
I can't wait to take the bus and get a discount for it. Can't. So excited about that. So now it's time to announce the winner, and I can't do that without some helps. Libro Credit Union, for us at WEtech, represents a friendship a decade in the making now. Finding a partner in this work is so critical. And finding a partner that believes in the work you do as much as you do is a challenge that is never far from our minds. And that is why I'm so incredibly grateful and honored to be able to introduce today Lori Atkinson, Regional Director for Windsor-Essex, and Diane Dew, Chief Operations Officer for Libro Credit Union. Please join me on stage.
Okay, I'm the short one. Good afternoon, everyone. As Adam said, my name is Lori Atkinson. I'm the Regional Director for Libro Credit Union for the Windsor-Essex region. So as we come to the end of this incredible event, I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you who are here today. The feeling of love and support in this room for our entrepreneurial ecosystem has never, ever been stronger. The WEtech ScaleUp program has once again proven to be a remarkable platform for innovation, collaboration, and growth. First and foremost, I want to extend my sincere thanks to our BFFs at WEtech. Thank you for our amazing partnership. I would also like to thank the judges, and we had the hardest job in the room today, I will tell you. All of the mentors, all of the participants who have made this event possible. Your dedication and hard work are truly, truly inspiring. And it's because of you that we can celebrate the spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation in our community. At Libro Credit Union, we are proud to support initiatives like WEtech ScaleUp. We believe the power of innovation to drive positive change and create a brighter future for all. It has been an honor to witness the incredible talent, creativity, and entrepreneurial spirit displayed by all of the participants today. At Libro Credit Union, our vision is to be the trusted partner for local businesses and their families. We are committed to strengthening financial well-being for a better tomorrow by supporting local businesses through initiatives that promote employment, business creation, and growth. We believe that by investing in our community, we can help businesses and individuals achieve their long-term goals and maintain overall financial stability. The economic impact of the WEtech ScaleUp program has been significant. Since its inception, not including this year, the program has created 206 jobs, assisted 38 companies in bringing 170 new products and services to market, engaging over 12 million users around the globe, and generating a whopping $39 million in revenue. Just wow. These achievements highlight the program's vital role in fostering economic growth and innovation in our region. Now, the moment that everyone has been waiting for, the announcement of the winner of the pitch competition. This year's competition, and I think I say this every single year, this year's competition was fierce. Each team showcased their unique ideas and solutions. And I have to say, our Windsor-Essex community is strong. We have so much amazing things happening here. It was probably the toughest judging that we have ever done for the ScaleUp program. And I just want to extend to all of the participants, you truly are all winners. Take the opportunity to connect with people in the room. We want to help you. We want to support you. So don't hesitate to reach out. So, after careful consideration and deliberation and arm wrestling, our judges have made a final decision. The winner of the WEtech ScaleUp Showcase Pitch Competition for 2026 is Stratus Agro.
Keep the applause going.
So I'll just say a big congratulations. Your innovative approach and dedication have truly set you apart, and we're excited to see the impact that you will make in the future. Once again, thank you to everyone who participated and supported this event. Together, we are building a stronger, more innovative community right here in Windsor-Essex. Have a wonderful evening, and we look forward to seeing you again next year. Thank you.
So have everyone just wait a few more minutes. Got a couple more things to say. All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, please, for Stratus Plastics. Stratus Agro, I'm sorry, they're evolving. All right, before I close today, I want to say something directly to every company that took today's stage. One team walks away with the grand prize, one team the people's choice. That's how pitch competitions work. They unfortunately are a zero-sum game. But entrepreneurship is not. We've seen time and time again that it's not in the relationships you build over the last 6 months. It's not zero-sum in the feedback you receive today from people who want to see you win, not in the doors that open because someone in this room heard your story and thought, I know someone. Not in the growth that happened between your first pitch practice and the ones you delivered today, which, as anyone that saw the practice pitches, like, just unreal. They did so great from where they were to where they've come. WEtech is not going anywhere, and I'm gonna end this part of today by saying the same thing I did to each of them in that podcast, which is we don't leave when this program ends. Our doors still open, our resources are still available, and we're always going to be here for you as you go on this journey to bringing your ideas to life. We're so proud of each of you, and we cannot wait to see what comes next. So one more time, please, for the companies today. Nine companies, ladies and gentlemen, today. 9 founders who stood on this stage and shared a vision for something better. You all felt it, and I know you did. Now, at the top of today, I gave you a task. I asked you to think about who you know, what connections you have, and how you could help one of these founders get closer to their next opportunity. That task does not expire when these doors close today. Please go find them. Introduce yourself. Keep connecting dots. The difference between all of the stars in the sky and the constellations we've used to navigate as a species for millennia are the connections we make between them. The biggest things we build in this region will start from the smallest of actions. Thank you so much, and we will see you next year.